Today, CDOT is planning more lane closures and 10-minute traffic holds on I-70. Now, they're saying this could extend into tomorrow on both sides of I-70 through the Glenwood Canyon area. They're planning limited holds between 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, avoiding holding traffic during the morning and evening commutes.
All right, Erica, thank you. Today, prosecutors and defense attorneys for the King Soopers shooting suspect are due in court. Defense attorneys have until Wednesday to convince a judge that the suspect isn't in the right mind to stand trial for killing 10 people. When doctors concluded that the suspect was competent to stand trial, they were zeroing in on a very specific question. That's whether or not the suspect could help his counsel in his own defense. The decision for the defense now is whether to accept that finding or challenge it, something that could cause yet another delay.
Yeah, I understand why folks would be frustrated and upset, but those things can't trump defendants' rights. That's just the way our judicial system works.
This afternoon, we may get a better idea than of whether the defense will challenge the competency finding. One thing that's important to note, just because the defendant is ruled competent, it doesn't mean they aren't experiencing mental health issues.
Developing this morning, police in Denver arrested 6 people after a road rage shooting that led to a police chase and a hostage situation. It ended with officers shooting a man. All this happened Friday night, but police just now sorted out all of the arrests. Denver police report a driver called 911 saying someone was shooting at him on I-25 near Colfax. No one was hurt. Officers say they found the shooter's truck and saw a bunch of people run into it. When they started chasing the truck, police say a man named Keith Mosley started shooting at them. The truck crashed, then police say Mosley got out of the car holding a woman and threatening to kill her. An officer shot him. Mosley's still in the hospital and could face charges for attempted murder, assault, and kidnapping. Another man, Julio Cesar Solomon Madera, is in jail accused of attempted murder for the shooting on the highway. 4 others were arrested on other warrants and a parole violation.
A service member from Colorado was one of the 3 people killed when their aircraft crashed during a training exercise. The Marine Corps identified Major Tobin Lewis from Jefferson County as one of the victims. The crash happened Sunday morning on an island just off the coast of Australia. Nearly 24 Marines were on board when their Osprey crashed into the forest and caught fire. 3 Marines are still in the hospital. First responders in Australia say it's incredible that so many people made it out alive. The Marine Corps says that Major Lewis grew up in Conifer, joined the Marines in 2008, and was promoted to Major 5 years ago. He trained pilots and in the last year took over the Marine Force training with the Australian military. Investigators are still trying to figure out what exactly caused this crash, but this kind of aircraft has a long history of deadly problems. Last year alone, 9 service members died in 2 separate crashes during training missions.
It's been a year since prosecutors could start charging someone for distributing fentanyl that kills someone. Since then, more than 1,000 Coloradans have died because of fentanyl, but only 17 people have been charged with this crime. District attorneys say finding enough proof to charge someone is very difficult, and it can take a long time too. They tell us after someone dies, it's taken anywhere from a week to 10 months to file charges. DA Brian Mason in Adams County pushed to get this law passed. Mason has since filed 2 cases for distribution resulting in death. He says although it takes a lot of resources, it's an important tool for prosecutors to have.
These cases are tough. There's so much fentanyl on the streets right now. And candidly, there are so many dealers of fentanyl on the streets that actually determining when there's a death, who the dealer was that distributed the fatal dose of fentanyl to the victim is very hard. This law isn't going to fix the fentanyl crisis, but it's a start.
Mason says he'd like to see this law expanded so he could file charges when other kinds of drugs result in someone's death.
It is now 6:07 on your Tuesday morning, and less than a week into the school year at the University of North Carolina, a faculty member is dead after a shooting on campus. Campus was on lockdown for 3 hours. Students barricaded themselves in classrooms, and some even climbed out of windows. Police eventually arrested a doctoral student. They said they still haven't said why the shooting happened to begin with, or if the suspect even knew the victim. The name of the faculty member who died has also not been released just yet.
Former President Donald Trump is due in court in Georgia a week from tomorrow. He'll be arraigned in the case against him for his attempt to overturn the state's 2020 election results. All 19 co-defendants are scheduled to be arraigned September 6th. Trump is scheduled to go first, and the others will follow in 15-minute increments. He's expected to plead not guilty. His federal trial related to the 2020 election is scheduled to start in March, the day before the Super Tuesday primaries.
It's going to cost you more to get free shipping on your Amazon orders. Some people who don't have a Prime membership will now have to pay $35 before shipping is free. It used to be $25. Amazon is testing the higher price in some zip codes. It's not clear exactly where the company is targeting, but you should see the change in your account if it does apply to you.
Taking a live look at Boulder right now, the city is offering another round of rebates for people who want to buy an e-bike. Applications for vouchers will open tomorrow at 9 a.m., run for 2 weeks through Wednesday, September 13th at 5 p.m. Discounts range from $300 to $1,400 depending on the type of voucher. Boulder has two types, standard and income qualified. People 18 and older can apply. The recipients will be selected by random draw by September 14th. It is not clear yet how many vouchers the city will give out. Last time it was around 200.
Well, just over 7 hours to go until we know who is on the Broncos' 53-man roster, and the team still has a lot of cuts left to make. The team made these 5 cuts on Sunday. Wide receiver Kendall Hinton, probably best known for his stint as fill-in quarterback during the 2020 season, when the other quarterbacks were made ineligible by the NFL for violating the league's COVID protocols. Former Cherry Creek star Nick Williams was also among the cuts. The Broncos didn't make any moves yesterday, so now Sean Payton has to cut more than 30 players by that 2 p.m. deadline.
Well, one thing you want to know about the weather is the weekend forecast. Let's take a look at it in detail. 90 degrees for your Saturday, above normal for this time of year. Maybe an isolated late storm. Sunday, pretty much more of the same. Sunshine, then an isolated storm, 89 degrees.